Hey everybody, welcome back to another Tuesday night chat with the Muskrat. I'm your host, Mr. Roger. That's it, just Mr. Rogers. We got Mikey coming in here in just a few. He said he'd be a few minutes late getting started this evening. He has a Tuesday night prior engagement that runs him a little behind, but that's all right. We'll take this time to catch up with everybody and say hello to some folks that are tuning in. A couple of exciting things coming up here in the near future, so I'll take a minute to talk about those things as well. Hopefully everybody's had a good week and staying dry. A lot of the country is getting hammered with some rain, some very much needed rain. It rained here on and off all day and a little bit last night, but it's going to take a lot more rain before things start flowing again. Good for us. So we'll keep our eyes open and hope for some more rain because we need it real bad. But first in the house, I seen 922 Crappie Barbecue. What's going on, buddy? Sampy's in the house. Jersey River Rat stopping in, say hello, leave a thumbs up. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Mr. Tommy Long's in the house. Jackie is working on the information for me, Tommy. She's going to get that to me so I can send it to you via text. And because she was like, I can't find him on Facebook, and he ain't on Facebook. Looks like Ernie Brown wants you to get a hold of him. I got his number, so connect the dots there for y'all. Lisa, Burrito Catfish Lady, welcome in. How you doing? There's Miss V. Hello. Thanks for stopping in. Let's see. Benoit Fishing here as well. Big Wrench. I see Sappy say Big Wrench, but I don't see Big Wrench. Big Wrench somewhere. Did I miss him? Oh, there he is. Big Wrench Catfishing. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. There's Chris with Catch Fish with Us. How you doing? There we go. Everybody's coming on in. Smoky Mountain Catfishing. What's going on? Fishing with the Squirrel. What's up, brother? I haven't seen you for a while. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. We are getting ready for this weekend's event. There's Joshua. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. So you think you can beat Creole. And so we're going to have some fun with that. You guys know what our plan is. The only problem with that plan is it knocks us out of the next tournament series, which is Taming New Waters. And next online circuit, meaning you can't fish any water you've been on in the last 6 months, which I think I just signed up for that. And then Jackie reminded me that we have a live in-person tournament. We're going to be fishing with Mr. Kevin Walters from Monster Cat Catfishing for his annual event down in Manchester, Ohio. So we'll probably have to back out of the online tournament that night to participate in his online event, or his in-person event. So Kevin has been a big help for us over here at Muskrat Adventures. And to me personally, he's just a great guy, helps out a lot of people. So we're going to support him and be there for his event. Dale Hayslips in the house. What's going on? Thank you for stopping in. River Rat 3030. What's going on? Let me see if I can get the next thing we got coming up is Catfishing for Kids, the Halloween edition. And so check that win up there Saturday, bro. Check that wind up there. Oh, the wind? Uh-oh. Something I don't know about. Let me see here. I'm going to make sure I get my date right here. Yes. Sunday, October 20th is going to be this year's Halloween event for the kids. Just trying to plan around all the other great events going on in the community. And here locally, I don't normally do a Sunday event, but we're going to go ahead and do it on that Sunday anyway for the kids and to make sure that we get to host that event and have a good time. So we're still looking for kids to sign up. We got as many spots as we can get as we do the multi-hosted simulcasting deal throughout the community. It's impossible now to really run out of room. I'm sure I don't have a lack of willing participants to help host a kids event. So there's Mike in the chat says, I'm on my way home. Be careful, brother. We ain't going anywhere. There you go. Jackie's in the chat there saying that we're still looking for kids to sign up. And we also looking for donations. Anything, any shape or form can be helpful. We try to do our best to make sure these kids have a good time and have something to remember the day with whether it be new toys, merchandise, things like that, or just, hopefully just a great experience. So we've got a lot of success stories from these kids events, that kids that hadn't previously been into fishing or had not had much interest in it. And then this brought them out of their shell, and they have, well, in some cases we created a monster. Ask Danny Stone, his granddaughter's, she loves it. There's Mama's in the house, man. Mama could use all your prayers, guys. She went this last week for her 5th abdominal surgery this year. Well, within a year, this is the 5th time she's had to get cut, and it's pretty bad. She's recovering well because she's tough, and or if anyone wants to take Amelia out, she's dying to do it. There you go. All right, looks like we got Mike backstage. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Heck yeah, we can hear you. You got the best sound system of all, man. I'm jealous.
It's this little whatever this thing is. It's a game changer.
Or dead cat.
Yeah, I have no idea what they're called.
Yeah, it definitely makes a big difference. Your audio is always like super clear. Sorry if I'm missing anybody. Stonefly71's in the house as well. Let's see. And that, like I said, Mama could use some hugs and prayers and good vibes. Whatever you got, she could use it. I won't gross you guys out with some of the gory photos from last surgery, but it is crazy. They basically took, well, I'll just leave it at that. It's crazy. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm not doing too bad at all. I ended up not going to the Queen tonight. I ended up just chilling at home. I was just being lazy.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. We've all got lazy days. I ain't been feeling the hottest the last few days, but I'm trying to be lazy, but my responsibilities just don't stop.
I was gonna say, you sound like you're under weather a little bit.
Yeah, we've all been passing it around back and forth between our house and the neighbor's house, and all the kids going back to school. And it's find out real quick who's got the weakest immune system. It's me.
Yeah, I know how that is. Oh, man. This hat's still wet from Alabama. It feels disgusting.
Well, that's bad. How does your hat not dry from Alabama? Yeah.
So in the passenger seat of my Jeep on the floor, there's about 15 to 20 hats or so. So when I'm done wearing a hat, I just throw it down there. So if it gets covered, it doesn't dry.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know how that works.
Yeah, this thing stinks.
Yeah, we saw some I saw some awesome pictures coming in from Alabama, man. Looks like you guys, first of all, you had to fish through a hurricane, so I'm not sure how you guys felt about that. But
listen to how unlucky we are. So up to that event, we've had 14 national events. Last year we had 5, and I think that was number 6 of this year. We, within 2 days of our tournament, on the body of water we're fishing on, we have had 3 tornadoes and a hurricane. So there's over a 1 in 4 chance if you fish our events, you're going to have to deal with a natural disaster of some kind.
Wow.
Like tornadoes that touch down literally on where we were supposed to be fishing, within 2 days. So
I'm not sure if you're trying to sell this league to anyone, but that's not how you do it.
Yeah, no, dude, we have the worst luck. Mother Nature's just not a fan. She's not a fan.
Our very first trip to Alabama was during a hurricane, and we was like, we have already, you'd already committed to it, and you're going, and you're there, and you're like, look, we're just gonna have to deal with it. But we made it happen. We caught fish.
Yeah. I think the weather may have actually helped the fish when we were down there. I don't think it hurt the fishing whatsoever. Now, bait was a nightmare. Bait was an absolute nightmare. But as far as like the actual fishing, I mean, it was on.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's very hard to predict or pattern fish when you have those kind of natural, disasters or, events happen in the area, because your barometric, everything goes crazy. So there's no, your normal, what you think and know is out the window because it's not normal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dave Funkair says it's very impressive how the length division whooped the weight division on Hoover on Sunday.
Yeah, the weight guys. So the Hoover's really neat. So Hoover, we started doing a length division there last year as like a test last September or last July. I can't remember. But we only did a test tournament every month for a few months last year there. This year we ran a series, and it's been one of the best series that I'm aware of, like in-person series online. And normally both scenes are very competitive with each other. They catch similar fish. Normally, like there's not one division that completely, smokes the other. You would think that the boat division, the weight division would though, because they're running 6 rods, whereas the length division, you're only allowed to run 3 per registered angler. So you're allowed to be a boat in the length division. It's just a length division. It's not a kayak division. It's just a length division.
Right.
So we do have some boaters that fish in it, who may not have a live well on their boat, or just are more concerned with CPR and stuff, which is totally fair too.
Yeah.
But it just so happened to be us length guys. I mean, the winning score in the weight division was 62 pounds. I think at least 5 of us had 70 and 2 fish, and they had 3 fish. That's two overs and an under in the weight division, and then in the length division, I had 70 and 2 fish. I took 5th, and I had 70 pounds and 2 fish easy. Like my overall score is probably 85 pounds if I had to guess, between my 2 overs and my 1 under. So, but I mean, and that I'm not talking trash. I'm just stating facts of what happened this weekend. Let me make that clear. I'm not Ryan Bortz. I want to preface this with saying, like, normally it's very even between both divisions. This one just so happened to be weighted heavily one way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Speaking of Ryan, I was, of course, seeing Ryan's post and things like that, and kind of keeping up with the standings and the followings. Like he's had a great year, and I talked to him a little bit about whether it's persistence or dedication, and he basically claimed it all to he just doesn't ever stop. Like
that and I mean, I hate to admit this. He's just good. Like
he is.
Some people they're just good, and he just so happens to be good. I hope he's not in the chat. I hope he didn't hear me say that. But I've been wanting to
better than Ryan at everything. There at your, I'm going to guess that's a little stab at you guys play back and forth.
Yeah. Our scene we give off this air of we help each other. Like we're really unique when it comes to anyone new to the scene who wants to come down and needs help. We help. But for a lot of reasons, like we're kayak anglers, so everything, you're self-reliant on everything. In the boat world, weight world, you got 2-3 people on a boat, you're a team. So like you're not necessarily going anywhere by yourself, and just like you're constantly bouncing ideas off of another person. So even if you're brand new, you still have a partner in the boat. Whereas in our world, everything's self-reliant. Like you have to figure it out yourself. So we're lucky to where we still currently, because it'll fade over time, but currently our top 10 guys, they will literally give their shirt off their back for you. Like they would run out of bait fishing a tournament to make sure somebody new got to fish the tournament. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just where we're at this, at this point in the game. It's going to change over time. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's going to get a little more cutthroat, as time goes on. But as far as like the early stages, we're really lucky with the community we have, building the base of this, I would say.
Absolutely.
So I know that turns some people off. Like they're like, "Oh, figure it all out yourself." And I'm like, first of all, you didn't figure it all out yourself. Like no one figured it all out themselves.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Even those that have been doing this, fishing for a long time. I don't fish a lot of tournaments, but I bounce a lot of ideas and hit up people. I'm getting ready to go down to Wilson Wheeler within the next couple of weeks, and I'll be hitting up you and Ryan and anybody else that might be able to give us some insight. I already heard the bait is brutal, so be prepared.
Mm-hmm. And hey, shout out to Alabama. I wish Ohio would take Alabama's lead on conservation and stuff. They realized they had an issue. It's not completely wiped their fishery, and they put a stop to it. Like I wish Ohio had that foresight 15, 20 years ago when the fishermen started complaining about the commercial and the trophy and stuff. And I don't want to make this about that, but I do want to give kudos to the state of Alabama because they realized they were losing millions of skipjack a year to not even their state. And they nipped that in the bud. And it's going to, like, I know there are tournament directors and stuff down there that are upset about it and like bait stores, but they saved you. Like, they saved your fisheries. Because when you lose the bait, you also lose the fish size. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So did they go down to 50?
They went down to 50. And so this is what I love. They went down to 50. And they made it very clear, 100 limit, and there is no buying, or you cannot sell it, barter, or trade it. So my big joke with Ryan is that, like, he's my bait guy with, like, we trade services. Like, he'll, do something for me and then I'll do something for him, but I get bait, in return. Cause I really haven't been bait fishing in like 2.5, 3 years. It's been really nice. Yeah, dude, it's been really nice. All I have to do is fish. Cause I call him my Ryan. I got myself a Ryan. I got a Ryan 2.0. I don't have to worry about getting bait.
So
but if
Joey's are a thing of the past now.
Yeah,
you gotta get a Ryan.
Yeah, get a Ryan. Yeah. But here's the thing though. If I made a post down in Alabama, like saying I'm doing something for Ryan and Ryan's going to hook me up with bait, I'd be breaking the law. Wow. They made it very clear: no bartering, no trading, and no selling of skipjack caught out of the Tennessee River chain out of Alabama. Yeah. So now you're allowed to give it away. You are free to give it away, but. And my understanding too is it's 100 possession limit period, and they don't even care if you have a receipt. Supposedly, and I can't find where this is written, but I was told by anglers that I trust, like if you roll in with 150 skipjack that you purchased from another state with the receipt, you're still getting a ticket for the 50 over. Supposedly, yeah, supposedly. Because apparently they want to crack down on the having a receipt from before and rolling out with 150 Alabama skipjacks claiming they're from somewhere else.
Well, I could see that. If there's a loophole, somebody will find it. So they're just trying to get ahead of it. I get it. That kind of sucks because so it's 100 in possession, like on the boat. So like total, because I thought it went to 50. And I'm like, man, there's days where me and Zach could catch more than 50, try to catch bait for a couple of days and have more than 50 in the cooler easy.
Well, possession, I don't know what they mean by possession. We never have to worry about it because we don't have on kayaks. I mean, we can only have a cooler so big.
Right.
But it's 50 a day, 100 possession, but I don't even know if it means 100 on the boat. I think it might mean 100 like in the truck. Like I think you're only allowed 50 at a time. But again, like that, those minute details, I truly am not completely aware of.
Yeah, I get it. Like you said earlier, I wish Ohio had gotten ahead. But see, it's not, it's not entirely Ohio. It's Ohio and Kentucky both. Hey, Pat, what's up, everybody? Pat jumping in there. Been a while.
Actually, I shouldn't blame I'm from the state, so I get more mad at Ohio. But like Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, they're all equally responsible for what's happened.
Yeah. So up this way, well, I say up this way, I moved, so it's not really up this way now, but like West Virginia bordering water, the conservation there out of those guys there is unreal. I don't know how many times I've seen West Virginia Division of Wildlife on the water compared to, I'll be honest, I have never seen Kentucky Division of Wildlife on the water, and I fish Kentucky bordering waters a lot.
I'm trying to think.
Not to say that they don't, but I've never seen it. There's Chris Souders in the chat says it's 100% combined, no matter if they're in the boat, in the truck, or wherever you have them. I got it.
Yeah, if he says it, it's like he's one of those people that like, yeah, if he says it, I'm assuming it's 100% accurate.
Yeah, he keeps up with the rules and regulations. Especially in his position, you don't want to be the guy caught, breaking a rule somewhere.
Same. I got this guy that I talk to on the Ohio DNR all the time, Scott Hale. Shout out, Scott. You're the man. I'm constantly. He'll call, like I have him like on speed dial. Hey, I'm about to do this. It's gray. Can you tell me for sure if I'm going to get 1,000 people in the comments telling me I need to go to jail? So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, right there. Kentucky will do something to see people filling coolers with bait. Here's the thing. Kentucky has been putting a crackdown. So yeah, Benoit, they're right. They have been passing a lot of rules and regulations. The problem is enforcing those. So they're on the right track with their intent, but the actual manpower it takes to enforce all these policies and procedures, I think that's where everything's falling short. But you've seen, I've seen a lot in the last 6 months to a year. Like Indiana has been busting guys, with overs and with commercial fishing, and posting about what all's going there, as well as other places on the Ohio River. Oh, is that right? Kentucky Fish and Wildlife show up Kentucky and Barkley Dam very often. Well,
that makes sense. That's like their crown jewel, right? Like that's like the land between the bridges or whatever it's called.
Yep.
Those two lakes next to each other. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure what the limit is down there. I know that in the spring I went down to Kentucky Dam and loaded up. Like, I think I brought back 375. And
nice.
I'm just about out.
Oh, that's funny.
No, that's good. That's what I don't want them to last more than 6 months. That's just how I am. I don't like them to last more than 6 months. But like I said, we're getting ready to go down. It used to be in the past, Zach and I'd go down to Alabama, Wheeler, or whatever. And, we'd fish for the week. And then on our last day, we use that day to load up on skipjack and bring back home to fish until spring, because, we just don't have the opportunities. And, we're not going to be doing that. Yeah.
Don't. And again, I also think I think they made it outlawed to cross the border with it. I may be wrong on that, but I think I'm just so scared of it now that it's like, it's good. It's clearly working. What they did is clearly working, because like I'm here sitting like, I'm not even going to remotely try and do anything sketchy because of the possible repercussions.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And for the folks that, know the rules and just try to loophole. And then there's always going to be folks that try to find a way around, if it's making money, it's affecting their wallet and affecting their livelihood, they're going to try to figure a way around it. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. But, putting the conservation where it should be and trying to help the catfish populations rebound. And, and it, like you said earlier, it's like down in Alabama, it starts with the bait. If the forage fish disappear, things are going to change dramatically. Those fish will have no choice but to start eating on other fish, which, upsets the ecosystem and that body of water. And, that the results, I don't know what the results are because I'm not a biologist, but it could be pretty catastrophic.
Mm-hmm.
No problem, Mama. I hope you get to feeling well. Well, Mom's in the chat there. So I see the background there. You've got some of the tournament stuff pulled up. You want to share that with us and kind of talk about where you guys are at, and really about how you guys have grown so much over the last year or two. And I mean, it is really awesome watching how fast you guys have grown, and like how you've gone from a local, small area to traveling clear. Like I was looking at the schedule. I mean, you're going to South Carolina for daggone.
What was that?
I said you guys are going Santee Cooper. I mean, you guys are moving all over the country.
Next month, we're on the Mississippi in Louisiana.
That's what I've seen that, Louisiana. Now I've got to see how you guys handle Mississippi waters and kayaks. Now I know you guys are all smart and you guys are, good at what you do, but that's just kind of crazy.
So it depends on where you're at in the Mississippi. Down there, so I know this time of year, based off of the King Cat last year, I know this time of year, they're only dealing with 1.2 to 2 mile an hour current tops. There were guys down there who were like really struggling to bump a 2 ounce. So we're going to be I'm not worried about the current unless we have like 2 or 3 storms roll through between now and then. And like long storms that really hit the mid to northern part of the Mississippi. That's the only thing that's going to really make me worried about the current. So I made sure we have 4 of the bayous or 4 of the lakes are also legal bodies of water for that tournament. That way, if the Mississippi isn't fishable, we have 4 options. From what I heard, the bayous aren't as great of fishing, but they still produce 35, 40, 50-pound blue cats. So,
Okay.
granted, the Mississippi River is why we're going. I want to hit some of those 200-foot bends on the Mississippi River down there in New Orleans. Like, that's going to be so much fun. Also, I'm kind of curious because before I fished the Ohio, everyone was like, "There's no way you could take a kayak out on the Ohio." And I'm not gonna lie, the first time I went out, I was like really underwhelmed with the experience, because I was expecting crazy current, crazy waves, and all this stuff, and I was like, "This 2 miles an hour current isn't bad at all." Like, yeah, I'm in a kayak, but like this really isn't that bad at all. And that was 5-6 years ago before I had a motor. Now some of us are rocking 36 volts. I'm rocking a 24-volt motor. I'm going 5-6 miles an hour. I fish in most stuff that most boaters wouldn't. Ryan and I was the first person to put it on video, bumping from a kayak and catching fish. Not claiming to be the first to do it. I'm sure someone did it before me. I still can't find to this day anyone putting it on video out there.
Right.
Ryan and I started doing it about the same
I'll be
time.
honest.
Yeah, Ryan and I started doing it at the same time. I beat him to the first fish doing it. He can't take that from me. I beat him to not only the first video, but also to the first fish. And yeah, now we go sit in hydros. We'll sit in 5.5, 6 mile an hour hydros, like the thumbnail that you used. I was sitting in 5.5 mile an hour current in 55,000 CFS right below Wheeler Dam. That's when that fish hooked up. So that fish hooked up when the alarms were going off, like, to get out of the way. And if you looked at the timestamp of like the average flow going out, right when he hit was about 55,000 CFS. So, and like 2 hours before that, it was 15,000 CFS. So we can handle essentially anything the big boats can. Now, we ain't hard anchoring in that stuff. That's something we can't do.
Yeah,
you'll literally get pulled under. Your kayak will get pulled under the water if you try and hard anchor in that. But I mean, we got spot lock and stuff. So, bumping has become. I'll be honest. If I'm not bumping or walking baits, I'm probably not going fishing because I'm just so obsessed with it. Like, that's unless it's a tournament. If it's a tournament like Hoover, I had no choice. I had to drag or suspend, or there's no bumping at Hoover. It's a lake. But like my fun fishing and stuff, if I'm not bumping or walking baits, I'm probably not going fishing. It's just so much fun. So much fun.
Yep. Yeah. A couple of folks saying, no fool there saying the bumping is a dick. I'm the same. Jackie and I, we absolutely love bumping. We get an opportunity when we get down there, we'll be bumping. My buddy I'm taking has never been bumping, but he's a great angler. So I don't expect it to take him long to figure it out. Jackie caught on like 10 minutes and was catching fish alongside Zach and I the first time I took her bumping. Bobcat,
cool.
Shut your hole. I ain't got to watch your video yet. You said you're stepping back and the flow's too low. I haven't got to watch that video yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, we've been running like 7,500 in the Ohio up here at Greenup Dam. We fished one day last week. You could have drug downriver or upriver. It didn't matter. It's like the Ohio lake. It was. There's no flow.
We're currently the same thing here, unless something's changed. Let me see. No, yeah, it's a lake.
Yep.
Yeah,
do you want me to put that up on stage there? We can kind of talk about where standings are. I was going through all the different.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
I was going through all the different categories and just seeing who's all ranking and where, and it's just neat how many different divisions you guys have as far as like length series, open series. You got a Hoover series. You got the regional. The national. So it's pretty wild.
I'll do a quick rundown of all of them. So this is the Fishing Chaos app. This is a free app anyone can download. So if you're ever curious about, looking at our standings, our tournaments, we have our leaderboards are typically live. So throughout the tournament, you're going to see people all, submitting their fish, which is really fun. That's really fun for storytelling. Cause if you follow any of our social media at our in-person tournaments, our national trail, every hour or so, I try and do like a live update. So you can see throughout the day, which that's something you don't really get in other tournaments because there's a one-time weigh-in. I mean, unless you got cameras and stuff on the boat. you really kind of aren't sure what's going to happen until the very end. Whereas with ours, you can see the races throughout the entire day. So once you're here, download the Fishing Chaos app, go to Trail Club, start typing in the word online catfishing tournaments will be the first ones that pop up. So if you want to check out one of the tournaments, you click on tournaments, and then all of our trails are here. We have our national trail, the King Cat National Trail, the Scioto River Series, Hoover, and then these are all the series. We have 3 month-long events. We have a national open, which is your 5 biggest fish. You have a national slot, which is your 10 fish up to but not breaking 30 inches. This one, anyone in the country can compete in. This one, realistically, not everyone in the country can compete in.
I think Stan's winning that one right now, isn't he?
Yeah, more than likely. If I had to guess, more than likely.
Yeah, Stan 3, $4.99.
Is that where he's at? Yeah, we'll use that one as the first one. So the September one. So let's see here. Oh no, he's at 198 He's tied right now with Matt Stewart at 198.25.
Oh, I'm looking at a different one. I'm looking at the month-long series.
I think I know which one you're looking at. But no, so this one's your 5 bigs. It looks like Matt Stewart and Stan 3 are tied. I haven't went through and judged any of your fish, but we can take a quick look. Now I gotta be careful on what I click on, because if I hit manage entry, you guys will see what I see as an admin, which is the GPS, all that stuff. That's the stuff that I don't give out or don't show on TV, or not TV, but on lives.
Have you thought about auctioning that stuff off? Because
no. However, there are some DNRs that I have shared certain information with. So I don't make a big stink really about the whole commercial fishing stuff and etc. On social. I just feel like there are better ways to combat it.
Yes.
The state has asked me, they're like, we don't have any proof. We don't have any proof that our fisheries suck. And I'm like, I have all the stats that you need. And I have been sharing stats behind the scenes with them. Look what's caught here. Look what's caught here. Look what's caught here. No commercial here. No commercial here. No commercial here. Commercial here. Here's the averages. And it's just fact this. I have. So as far as auctioning it off, obviously no. But as far as
joke.
I have shared some of the relative data with some of the DNRs who try and better do some things. But yeah, in our scene, so blues and channel cats, right side down, left side up. Your furthest length touching the measuring surface is what you get scored on. So in this case, it's a 42.75 inch fish. There'll be some random identifier, which will be a collection of letters and numbers for almost every tournament. And then they have to be clearly bumped. There used to be a rule we had to see the eye. I don't really care about that. A lot of catfish don't even have a left eye sometimes, though. So yeah, you see the whole fish. They're right side down, left side up.
Yeah,
that's all. And you can't be manually manipulating the fish. Their tail can be pinched, but you can't be squeezing it with your hand, pinching it. If they're naturally laying with their tail pinched, that's fine. I don't care. But you just can't be manually manipulating the fish in any way when you take the picture. So this will be. I'm sorry.
I still can't believe you guys are able to get those fish up on those scoring boards and then to chill long enough to get a picture.
It's not easy. No. It looks easy.
I've seen a million videos about it. I still can't believe you pull off what you do pull off.
Yeah, it looks easy because it's a still shot, but man, it can be a pain. But believe it or not, a lot of the bigger ones are typically easier to measure. For whatever reason, they tend to just chill and just, I don't want to say give up, but they tend to just lay down and just be chill, the bigger ones, for whatever reason. The little ones, when we fish Sandusky and you got to submit 35 to 50 fish in one tournament, that can be a nightmare.
Oh, I know. I'm heading to Sandusky on Saturday. Of course, you guys already probably knew that in the online tournament league. I come back bleeding, hook stuck. Every trip up there is just insane. I come back with just cuts and bruises. I average at least 2 hooks buried past the barb every tournament. It's rough. Those fish are just vicious.
And then, so this was the most recent tournament we had. This was on Hoover this past weekend. So just for reference, for people who don't really know, any score over 110 anywhere in the country is a strong score. Any score over 120, and this is inches, any score over 120 in a tournament anywhere in the country is a very good score. More than likely going to put you in the money at some point. Hoover had 5 of us over 115 and 1 person over 120, which is for Ohio is like that's absolutely amazing and insane. I'll admit I did get kind of lucky. I caught all my fish in like a 15-minute span. So this tournament started at 8 a.m. I woke up at 10. I was fishing by noon, and I was skunked until about 3:30 was when I caught my first fish.
Wait, you didn't even get up until 10 o'clock?
Yeah, no. Like I kind of have a reputation in so like I'm a great administrator. I don't want to say I don't care about competing in the tournaments, but I don't necessarily take them all that serious. Like they're just more fun for me than anything else. So I woke up at 7:50 just to like because when the tournament started at 8, I got up at 7:50 just to make sure nothing went wrong in the first 15-20 minutes of the tournament. And then once I saw every like a fish got submitted and we were good, I went right back to bed till about 10. And then and then I woke up, got out on the water by noon, so I was fishing by noon. But yeah, I caught these 3 fish in a matter of about 15 minutes back to back to back. I had 2 of them actually in my kayak at one time. If you the one picture, yeah. So I had both these. So this is the one I submitted right here. But I had this guy sitting in the kayak with me at the same time. It was nuts. And the cool thing too, it was actually live when this happened.
Really? What platform was you on?
I was on YouTube on that at that point. I was at I think the timestamp was like 3 hours and 30 minutes. Normally on my lives, I try and go back and put the timestamps in the not the comments, but in the description, so you can skip the, if you want to go see it anyway. So about 3 hours and 30 minutes in was when I first started catching my fish. This was the first one I caught, and weight wise, I believe this one probably would have been the biggest fish caught all day between both tournaments, weight wise. Yeah, this guy was this is my PB at Hoover by a very wide margin. It was slightly shorter than the other fish that I had, but this I'm like I had to push its stomach in with my foot because it kept on sliding off the board. It was so fat. So that's why my foot's on there balancing it so it would stop sliding off the dang board. I was getting so frustrated.
Yeah, we were just talking about how you got him to hold still. You'd let the secret out. It's the foot.
Yeah. But yeah, I beat Chris Minahan. He's also another one of those rivals like Ryan Bortz. So I was very happy that I was very happy I beat Chris. But Matt Stewart, he's a rookie. He's coming out of nowhere this year. He's killing it. He's been fishing our national scene. Troy Greer, again, he's another rookie who started fishing this year. He killed it. And he had a very solid day. He didn't have a fish over 40, but he had 3 in the upper 30s. Tyler Offlick, he's been kicking butt all year. And John Ratliff, Hoover is kind of like a monkey on his back. I think this might be the first one he's won at Hoover. He's a really good fisherman who just so happens to just never do well at Hoover. But he got the monkey off his back at this tournament. He kicked major butt. Let me see here. And then we'll go to the series standings for that. So in our tournament trail, it's 100 points for first, 2-point bonus big fish, 99 second, 98 third, 97 fourth, and so on. Great part about the app, it does all that math for me. I don't have to, let me zoom in here. It does all that math for me. I don't ever have to do anything besides add the bonus points for big fish. So at the moment, legend Amanda Johnson, she's currently sitting in first, and we have 2 events to go. And there are 5 people that are mathematically still in the point race. And I shot all of them a message so they know they are, just in case they didn't plan on fishing the last 2. I put up $500 for the point race for this trail. So there's a chance at winning, an additional $500 if you're in the top, or if you are mathematically still in it. Matt Stewart's in second with 497. Then you got Tyler Offlick, 492. Josh Sylvia, who's kicking tail, but he unfortunately is mathematically eliminated. Garen Frazier is not. So Garen Frazier might look like he doesn't have a lot of points, but if he gets 2 102 scores in the last 2 events,
it'll knock those out.
He can win. And I believe, was it Josh Seamer? And Josh Seamer is the last person. Same thing with him. He doesn't have 5 events, but if he fishes 1 more or the last 2 and gets 2 102s or 1 102 in a good place, he can also win. So those are our 5 people who are still mathematically in the race for the championship. The only person in the driver's seat, though, is Matt Stewart. If Matt Stewart wins in big fishes both the last tournaments, no one can beat him no matter what happens. So that's how that rolls out. Yeah. And I mean, it's so cool that, and I don't have to like manually do this. That's the best part.
Right.
The app does everything for me. And
Yeah.
then you have, I'll do the King Cat National Trail real quick. Actually, I'll do their last event real quick, just so we can look at those scores were stupid.
Right.
So the night before I was asked, what do you think is going to catch? What do you think is going to win? People were catching good fish, but with the rain and how hard the bait was, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe 120 would win and 110 would cash. I was so wrong. We only had 7 anglers due to the dang weather. It completely screwed us. But these scores were nuts. 133.5 was second place, 133.5. Ryan got first with 138.5. And this is three fish. So we'll go through a couple of those fish. So Ryan hit this hog right in the beginning of the day. Let me zoom out here.
Let me give this full screen so some folks that'll try and check this out real quick.
Gotcha. Ryan hit this. This was one of the first fish he hit right in the beginning of the day. It's a 48-inch bruiser. And for reference, we're looking at a 60-pound fish here, conservatively. Potentially more, but just for the people who don't really know the length, width, etc. conversions real quick in their head. That's what we're looking at right there. Then he had 2 45.25-inch fish as well. And he was bumping. He caught these, he was actually walking baits. So the way Ryan and I defined walking and bumping is walking is stationary.
There was a question early about that, and I was going to explain, but go ahead and explain the difference for folks that don't understand the difference between walking and bumping.
Yeah. So, and some people use different terminology. What Ryan and I use is when we're walking, we're in a hard anchored position or we are in a spot lock position, and
stationary.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same exact skill as bumping, but you're stationary. Bumping is, say the current's 3 miles an hour, you cut your vessel down to like 1.2, and you're still flowing with the current, but your bait's also going with the current as well. So your bait's probably going about 2 miles an hour. You're going about 1.2 miles an hour, but the current's about 3 miles an hour. So that's the difference between bumping and walking baits. Yeah. And then Adam Flegel, he comes all the way in from Kansas. Now, this isn't his submission for his inches. The great thing about the app is you can submit multiple photos. Also, if you think you have something wrong with one of your photos, you can submit multiple photos so I can go through and delete the ones that aren't good. But yeah, this is a 46.25-inch fish, and he actually cost himself roughly a half inch. Yeah, he cost himself roughly a half inch because it's over bumped. But some of these fish are just so hard to bump and so hard to measure. It's just part of the game. It's just part of the game. Sometimes you're just going to lose inches. And then Clinton Brooks, I was so proud of him. He's from Nebraska. So we have in our top 3, we have Kentucky, Kansas, Nebraska, Ohio. Oh yeah, Spencer Bauer, Iowa. This is river certified. Yeah, this is the first fish he's ever submitted in online competition with us. He actually got this guy real early in the morning. I was real excited, and then he just unfortunately skunked out the rest of the day. He had a couple hits. He has a video out on it. He skunked out for the rest of the day, but yeah, he fished real hard, and he had 2 good takedowns, which could have been 2 good fish, but should have, could have, would have. Never. You don't.
Ryan's fish are super dark. I'm going to assume he's fishing shallow water.
Yeah, he's already talked about this, so this isn't me giving anything away. He bumped directly beneath Guntersville Dam. So the tournament was on Wheeler, and he was below Guntersville Dam. So typically, these darker fish, shallower water fish, are the ones that are, they're living below the dams in the 15, 20-foot range. The sun hits them more. The water's much clearer because there's so much. It's so much more oxygenated and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. These we might have had a lot of people, but we had bruiser scores. Like that is an insane score, 138.5. So his 3 best fish, if I had to guess, were combined 150 pounds roughly. If he took his 2 over, 1 under, he was probably in the 125-inch range. Because here's the thing, you only see his best 3. He caught a lot more than that day, but we only see their best 3 on the leaderboard.
Right.
And that's another beautiful thing about these online events. The best fisherman wins. It's not the best 2 overs and 1 under. It's whoever caught the biggest fish wins the tournament. There's no luck whatsoever. And I'm not saying I'm not saying the ability to target unders doesn't take skill, but I'm just like, we all think catching the biggest fish is the hardest thing to do. So in my opinion, the best fisherman wins in these events. And then we'll go over to the national series standings for the national trail. Ryan is in first. I actually went over on a live. So the 3 people who are still mathematically in it to win, it's a $5,000 point race, $3,500 to first, $1,200 to second, $750 to third, something like that. These 3 guys are, chasing each other for that point race. Adam Flegel is still mathematically in. Justin Johnson, who's Kayak Catfish, he's currently sitting in second, and then Ryan Bortz is currently sitting in first. I have a pretty. Let me see if I can open it up here. I have a pretty unique tiebreaker tiebreaker that I believe I made up. If I didn't make it up, I didn't make it up. But let me pull it up here. Because I don't think anyone else does tiebreakers like this. But I really like this tiebreaker, how I decided to do it. So let's say one of these 2 anglers tie in their score. I am taking their head-to-head, and whoever did better head-to-head is going to win the tiebreaker. Because there's 9 events, it's your best 5 score. Well, what if you both fish 4 events that the other person wasn't at, and you only fish 1 mutual? And let's say one person had a much heavier or a much harder strength of schedule than the other person. Well, I don't want it to be some criteria other than how you compete against each other at like events. So it's your best 5 events against each other. So like, for instance, if Justin and Ryan, and let's hypothetically speaking, they were tied right now. Justin would win the tiebreaker over Ryan because of the 5 events in the green. Of the 5 events in green that they actually fished against each other, he scores 10, and I just added their place up. You know what I mean? Right. Justin would have a 10, Ryan would have a 15. So Justin would win the tiebreaker. And then I did it, I did the example for, if Justin and Adam tied right now, Justin would have won 10-33. If Ryan and Adam tied, Ryan would win 8-17. And if all 3 of them were tied at this point in time, JJ would win 10 because he has 10 to their 15-33. So, and then, and the way they're all still in it, this is their max score over here. So the current score is right here, 501, 499, 492. These are their max scores if they win out, if they win and big fish the last 2 events. These are their max potential scores. So this is what proves they're still in it. Gotcha. And yeah, we have 2 great tournaments left. I'm thinking 130 is going to cash. 130 plus is going to cash at the Louisiana tournament on the Mississippi. I'm expecting 45 to 48 inch fish, 3 of them on 5 or 6 anglers boards before the end of the day.
Now, I know that like when we watch videos and see stuff, the anglers are able to keep up with the scoreboard throughout the entire day. Is that public to everyone? Like if somebody was like, I'm sitting there thinking, I know you guys ain't live and you know that you submit the video, so there's not really anything to see, but like we could be checking in throughout the day and be like, holy crap, look at these, fish these guys submitted today.
Yep. Let me try and pull. Actually, you know what? I know how to do it without getting in trouble. I'm going to switch over to the online catfishing tournaments Facebook page.
Okay.
So personal chats don't pop up, and I will show you an example of what I do throughout the day. So throughout the day at these tournaments, let's see here. About every hour or so, I will post an update. So if you don't want to go to the app, you can just follow our tournament page. But also at the end of each post, I put the link that'll take you directly to that tournament page. Gotcha. So if you're following us, so we're OC Tournaments on TikTok, OC Tournaments on Instagram, online catfishing tournaments on Facebook. If you're following any of those for the national events, these are all the updates. Every hour or so, I'm putting an update, and at the very end of that update, there's that leaderboard. So you can click on it at any point in time in that tournament.
Except for the first 2 hours, you could still be in bed.
Oh no, not the national tournaments.
Oh, okay.
No. I was competing in that tournament, so I'm competing in the tournament, and I got to be very careful when I'm competing. Like I do some things I guess not everyone would. Like I announce ahead of time where I plan on fishing, because I have a lot of power in my position when it comes to, I see where every fish gets submitted from. You know what I mean? So Like, what happens if I'm competing in a tournament and the person who won the last event, I'm sitting right where they submitted that fish from? It just looks bad. So that's why I don't. That's mainly why I don't compete essentially in anything anymore, other than
I'm not
certain
familiar
things.
with where that is in Louisiana. What else is nearby in that area of Louisiana?
It's New Orleans.
Oh,
It's
is it New
Baton Rouge.
Orleans?
Yeah, it's New Orleans and Baton Rouge.
Oh, okay. Well, we're
Yep. It's so our check-in is going to be here-ish. It's right here somewhere. I can never see it on Google Maps real quick. Or is it up here? I can't remember. Is it here? Yeah, this is our check-in right here. The Boone Carey Spillway. If you type that in, that's where our check-in's going to be, and our fishing boundaries. I was told there's like nowhere to launch, so I made our fishing boundaries insane. Our fishing boundaries are this bridge in Baton Rouge, and then everything downstream of that, all the way to
the
all
Gulf.
the way to right here where this river splits. There's the head of Passes Light. This is the southern boundary. So if you go to our check-in, if you go, you can drive an hour and a half either direction to get to. So you're going to lose fishing time if you decide to fish an hour and a half away either way.
Right.
But that's part of the game. That's part of the strategy. And then
Well, the thing with the online check-in, though, the pictures, you don't have to drive back to weigh in your picture.
The national trail you do in the morning. You don't have to. In the morning, you don't have to check in. So in the morning, you can go wherever you want.
Oh,
You can be on the water. Yeah, you could be on the water whenever you want. Lines can't be in until 7 a.m. You can cast net if you want in fishing waters, but no lines of any kind can be in fishing waters before lines in at 7. But to make sure no one's cheating, I force the anglers afterwards who all meet up afterwards for a checkout. For a handful of reasons. Like Tennessee, our checkout is at the Catfish warehouse. Like, it just makes sense. Our check-in, checkouts at the warehouse. Also, it's good to see everyone afterwards. I like to know everyone's alive. And it really does prevent it really helps prevent cheating, because you can only go so far away from these bodies of water. And, if I didn't force them to come back, what's the, like, let me take, let's say we did an Ohio River Tournament. What's it to stop someone from going inland into Ohio to fish Hoover to then just drive straight down? You know what I mean?
right.
Like, they're not gonna do that if they don't have to, or they might do that if they don't have to come to the check-in after.
Well, the
But
GPS on their pictures will tell you everything.
yeah, that will tell me everything. But anything I can do to deter it, like, even though there are other fail safes, anything I can do to deter it, I try to.
Gotcha.
And then we have 4 lakes in play: the Lake Loch des Alamans, the Chattahoochee, I believe Salvador, maybe it's 5 lakes, Lake Maripes, and Lake Pontchartrain are all in play. So,
Bobcat and Fishizzle apparently have fished that stretch of water right there, and they said that spillway is super sketchy. It's a portion of revetment with giant holes. They said it's a scary place to put a kayak.
Revetment with giant holes in it. It's a portion of revetment with giant holes. Oh, are you talking about the check-in?
Yeah,
now the kayaks don't have to launch from there. That's just where we're checking in.
Yeah, that's where they're meeting up.
Yeah, you don't have to launch from here. This is just where we're checking in. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you flat out where I plan on fishing. I saw where's Algiers Point? Is this Algiers? No. Is this Algiers right here? I think it is. Yeah, Algiers Ferry Terminal. I believe there's a 200-foot hole right here. I plan on fishing this right here. So
that doesn't even. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's on Navionics. It says 192 feet right here. So, I just outed where I'm fishing. So if anyone sees me down there fishing there, that's where I'm going. Unless Navionics is like the Ohio River and it's wrong, but I mean, it seems to be right anywhere but the Ohio River.
Greg Burgess says he lives right down through there. He says that they didn't get hit as hard as he did. He said he was right in the eye of it. So that, I guess this latest hurricane that's moving up through there went right through Greg. So Greg, I'm glad you're okay, buddy. I seen the forecast for it, and like, we're going to get remnants of it up here. Obviously, we're not going to get anything near like what you guys are down south, but
yeah, and yeah, that's That's where our next tournament is. I am so excited for that. I absolutely can't wait. I just want to be able to put a YouTube video out there saying I dropped my bait in a 200-foot hole and caught this.
There you go.
Shout out Palmetto. Sorry.
There you go.
Sorry.
It's already out there now. You can't be taken. Bobcat says, don't be surprised if you hear loud explosions from the refineries. So I guess that's the thing.
Oh, that'd be cool. The only thing that I don't think I have experienced yet that we're going to experience there for the first true time is ships, like true ships. Like when I deal with barges up here,
Right.
Barge wakes are nothing. Like people,
Yeah,
they see it's such a big vessel, but like what they don't understand is a barge wake is one of the easiest wakes to deal with on the Ohio River. They're just long and they're just long and flowy. Whereas I don't know what the ships are actually going to put off. That's the only thing I haven't actually experienced in real life.
Catchfish with us says down here you got sharks.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Bobcat says at one point he was bumping in 140 foot of water, and I don't know, man. Just that something about 100 foot of water and greater it just doesn't feel natural to me. I don't know what it is. I don't have very high expectations of anything being that deep.
Oh, dude, every time I go to Nickajack, like all my best fish come down at 100 foot holes. I mainly fish only 100-foot holes. My first bumping fish on Nickajack was a flathead, and I was bumping through a 100-foot hole with a giant skipjack, and I think like a 6-foot long leader because I knew I was going 100 foot down. 4-ounce weight, had to use a 4-ounce weight, and it was only like 1 mile an hour current. It wasn't even that much current, but like as that line goes down 100 foot,
yeah,
it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. My favorite thing to do on Nickajack is to anchor up in those 100-foot holes and walk a bait. That's my absolute favorite thing to do.
We've tried everything. It's hard. There's a lot of stuff in the bottom of them 100-foot holes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we've actually hooked up on some giant fish and weren't able to get them out of some of those. But like our big thing is we like to spot lock right over top of it and suspend baits straight down into the hole.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to control the boat and hard to control, getting hung up.
And then I believe one of your buddies, was Aaron Grub on yours show? Yeah.
He has been a while, but he actually just messaged me this morning. He had a really good night fishing last night.
Yes. Yeah. He's actually, I don't know did he announce where he's fishing? I don't want to announce where he's fishing if he didn't say it.
He did tell me, but I don't know if it's public.
Okay. Well, he's doing really well down there, which,
yes.
That's cool. But the Scioto River series is, this is his baby. This is actually, he is technically the administrator. So what I do too in the background, I will help run tournaments. I'll judge, etc. This is actually his series, the Scioto River series. It's part of their last event is actually open to kayak, bank, or boat. It's normally a kayak and bank only tournament series, but their October 5th one, it's noon to noon, October 5th to 6th. It's open to everyone, kayak, bank, and boat, and it is also part of the series for the Ohio Length series right here.
Gotcha.
So if you compete in this, you're going to score for the OLS as well. And our boundaries for this, it's insane. It's the Lucasville Bridge.
Okay, I know where
it's
that's
the Lucasville Bridge. Let's Portsmouth right here. This guy right here. This is the bridge. This is is that Lucasville? Am I too high or too low?
I can't tell. You're
Let's
so fast
see here. Oh, yeah, it's this bridge right here. So this bridge is the southern boundary, and the reason we made it here is we didn't want anyone going into the Ohio fishing and then running up into the Scioto to submit their like we truly want it to be Scioto River fish. And then the northern boundary, I'm not even going to show you because it is somewhere up here. Like it's essentially the entire Scioto River. But that's the one that's more important is the southern one. I don't think not many people fish north of Columbus anyway. But those are the boundaries. Anyone's going to be allowed in, and I'm fishing in this one because I'm chasing the OLS and the Ohio. A little backstory on the Ohio Link series. I actually wasn't originally the host of this tournament series, and I really wanted to win it. So that's why I'm actually fishing these events. So I'll be fishing this one. I'll be honest. I'm just chasing points. I'm launching at Griggs or O'Shaughnessy, and I'm just trying to catch 3 channels. Like I'm trying to get a couple channels on the board just for the points. And then what we're doing in November. The top 5 guys in the OLS point standings, they get to choose the date, format, and stretch of the Ohio River for the final event. So,
oh wow,
yeah, so that's why it says November TBD Ohio River. We'll know the top 5 guys after this event in the tournament series standings, and then I'm going to talk to them, and I'm going to let them choose it. If for whatever reason they can't come to an agreement, it's just going to be the entire Ohio River on the Ohio River borders, and I'll pick a day that isn't conflicting with other stuff. But I think we'll be able to get the 5 guys in it to agree on something.
right.
So.
Bobcat's saying it's the work boats you got to worry about. If you see a boat coming towards you and the front of it's covered in tires, that's the one you got to watch out for.
That's what a lot of people said.
Yeah.
They said like they don't even bother going on the horn. They're just like they just do their thing, and you better get out of the way. That's what I heard. The one nice thing about the barges up here, like they're so slow. Like if you get ran over by a barge, it's like getting ran over by like a cement truck. Like the trucks with the big rollers that go like 3 miles an hour. Yeah, like you deserve to get hit if you get hit by one of those. Like get out of the way. They're easy to see, and they're really slow. So
we got you.
That's what we got going on there. Yeah, online catfishing tournaments on the Fishing Chaos app. Go to tournaments if you want to watch any of them live. Go to series standings if you want to see where any the people stand in all the series. If you have any questions, the best place to start is go to Online Catfishing Tournaments YouTube page. Every year, I put out a playlist. So the 2024 important videos. If you watch these videos, you're 100% ready to go. There's really nothing else I can teach you outside of these videos, other than like little minute things. And I try and keep them really short and sweet. Like you see 1 minute, 1 minute, 7 minute, 3 minutes. The only one that's long is the how to properly take a photo and submit fish, because that's the most important part of the whole, if you don't know how to submit a fish, that's kind of the whole thing we do.
What's up, Kevin?
Hey, what's up, Palmetto? I fired at you a second ago, Palmetto. I don't know if you were on here. Remember when everybody was copying your, I put my bait in a 70-foot hold thing? Yeah, I said I want to do that, but with a 200-foot hold down in Louisiana.
There you go.
So, hey, what was it? Being copied's the best form of flattery or something like that? I mean,
that's it. He's been copied a couple times, so he should be flattered.
Oh, that's funny.
So, well, man, we went through an hour that fast already.
Yeah, that flew.
Hey, if you got more though, we ain't got to stop just yet. If you got more to cover,
I'm trying to think. As far as the tournaments go, that's essentially it. Next year, we're going to be part of King Cat again. Another thing with our trail too, our national kayak trail. If you look at these spots, I try and pick like fishing destinations. There's not a single one on here that isn't. The only one that you can arguably say isn't a fishing destination would be Owensboro. But even Owensboro, you can get on some decent fish. So, but every other one, like you can catch a state record out of literally every single body of water, except Hoover. You can get a state record flathead out of Hoover. I guarantee there are state record flatheads out in Hoover.
I was told that the DNR up there has found they actually said there was 5 species of state records in Hoover.
I believe it.
Species of fish that would be a state record that nobody's caught.
That's awesome.
I think one's a certain type of carp. I thought flathead was one. I thought sunfish might have been one, but I can't remember now. But yeah. Now, this is all hearsay, but at one point I was told that during their shocking and whatnot, that they had discovered 5 species of fish in a Hoover that would qualify for state record.
They gave me an open invite to go on a shock fishing trip with them, and I just can't get it to work out with work. It makes me so sad. I would love
you have got to get your priorities straight.
I would love. Well, literally all my PTO is wrapped up in this. Literally all of it.
Yeah, so you don't have to tell us, but like, what do you do for a living that allows you to do this? Because this is a lot of time and a lot of effort.
So I work in, without giving the company away, I work in investments. I work at a bank. We'll put it that way. Wealth and
Okay.
asset management, so generational wealth. So typically, a really small account of mine would be like 250 grand. Normal accounts probably $1 million plus. So that's the kind of. It's funny when I tell people I work with that, like, a white trash catfishman, bottom feeder, blah blah blah. They're like, makes sense. Like, makes sense. You little angry words I can't say on here. But
Yeah.
then when I tell people in the catfishing world that I actually relate to, that I'm a white collar business professional, they're like, no, we just assumed you work construction or something and got in fights every other day. And I'm like, no, I'm actually like really good with numbers. I'm a white collar business professional. But
Well,
I'll be honest, I don't relate to those people at all. Like, that's not my family. My
right.
family's here.
Right. I got you. I got you. You got to pay for that fishing habit. That's all there is
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, man, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. Like I said, it went really quick. From the outside looking in, man, it looks like you were doing a fantastic job with this circuit and with those events. It seems so well thought out and organized. It kind of makes sense now, like the numbers and things that you were, talking about, being good with that. It kind of ties right into this. You've got to kind of be that way to make sense of this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like there are little things that are important that like you want to think of. So like our payouts aren't immediate. There's a delay. So like if someone signs up on a weekend, I don't get it until Wednesday. In my 5 years of doing this, so I always tell people within 5 business days of an event ending is when I try and get it paid out within 5 business days. I've missed 2 or 3 by that 5 business day mark. And I'll be honest, like 1 or 2 of them was forgetfulness. Like, I'm human. I'm human. And the other one, I was, before the tournament even started, I said, I'm going to this tournament and then I'm going on a vacation immediately after. I won't be able to pay it until the 7th business day. I think complete transparency is key if you're going to run, like, complete transparency, and you cannot change rules once the rules are set. Like, tournament directors, if anyone's watching this, stop changing rules after you set them. Stop changing boundaries after you set them. Like, that has to stop. It's so frustrating. That will not happen here ever.
Yeah.
Outside of safety. If there's a safety concern, then I don't have a choice.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a lot of pressure on a safety director to make that call. You hear about different instances all over the country and, the first person to blame. But honestly, we've said it several times here. At the end of the day, it's the captain's discretion or their decision whether they feel safer to go out or not. If you launch in conditions you're not comfortable in or you don't feel you're safe in, that is on you. 100%. Like, that's why you're the captain of the boat, is because that is your responsibility. That is part of owning a boat or running a rig, is you have to be able to make that call for you and your crew. What you can handle, what your vessel can handle, and just blatantly what it can't.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And administrator has to be in it a little bit too, though. I believe I'm constantly telling people I'm protecting my guys from themselves. Like, because if we're having a tournament, Ryan does not care what it is he's fishing it. You know what I mean? So like, I have to make sure, like, but my safety is a little different too. Like, our guys are 7 inches from the water at all times. And there's no protection from the elements whatsoever.
Right. Exactly.
So, like, we can't just throw a bimini up and a heater, and you know what I mean? So I'm in a little bit different of a situation when it comes to, I'm constantly telling guys, like, look, I got to protect you from you. And I mean, I got a relatively high bar, but still, it's like, if there's an event, they're going to do it. That's the only thing I don't want to see. Yeah, it's the only thing I don't want to see. That I'm actually more worried about that at Sandy Cooper than I am.
Yeah, I was going to say
Louisiana.
Sandy Cooper is probably going to be a bigger threat there. Yeah, 7 inches ain't enough out of the water to keep me out of those.
Yeah. And every now and then I'll see like a meme or a video of an alligator just swimming up to a kayak and just knocking it over. And not little kayaks either, like fishing kayaks.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Oh,
it'd be
great.
exciting to see how you guys finish out the year. These last two events should be super exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys finish up. I'd love to see prove me wrong in this 200-foot hole. For some reason, I've never feel comfortable in that deep of water. 100-foot, I don't know. I guess it's because I don't have much confidence in it. I don't fish it much. And because I don't fish it much, I don't catch much. And because I don't catch much, I don't have confidence. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. That makes
It
perfect
just
sense.
snowballs out of control. So I guess in a way I just got to just break out of my comfort zone and try it just a little bit more than what I have been to see if I get different results.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way with suspend drifting. I hate it, but it's unquestionably a great way to fish. I hate manning 6 rods in a kayak and constantly bouncing back and forth.
In a kayak, I can't even imagine. In my boat where I have room to walk, take a step back and forth, it'll wear you out some days depending on what type of terrain you're fishing. Now, I like to keep my baits pretty close to the bottom, so I'm constantly reeling up, letting down, reeling up, letting down. Some of these guys will reel their baits like 5 feet up off the bottom and just drift the entire day. Like I just can't do that.
Yeah, me neither. I'm right there with you. I'm typically trying to be 1 to 3 feet off the bottom tops.
Yeah.
So, but up north, it's a different animal. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really glad I cut my teeth up north because it's kind of made the rest of the country really easy to fish. Like if you're successful up here, you can go anywhere and be successful. It's not vice versa. I can't tell you how many people have come up here skunked and they're like, "Oh, your fisheries suck," and I'm like, "No, we have 4 seasons, and you have to know how to do everything if you want to be successful in all 4 seasons. You can't drag in 32-degree water with a 5-foot leader and expect to be successful."
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, we get told that a lot. If you can catch fish in Ohio River consistently, you've got a pretty good shot at being competitive anywhere.
Mm.
But real quick, because he says better than Ryan at everything, and you and Ryan have kind of poking at each other. I'll be honest. I sent an invite to Ryan to come on the show one night too. He didn't pay attention that I said, one of these Tuesdays coming up, so he thought it was tonight. So when he saw the thumbnail, no, but he had the link. He said, "Send me the link. I'm crashing this party," and he didn't show up. He's scared. I don't know what happened.
You bum.
Yeah. So I left the door open for him because he messaged me and said, "I thought I was on tonight." I said, "No, you didn't tell me which Tuesday night you wanted." So he said, "Well, send me the link. Don't tell him to send me the link. I'm coming in." I said, "All right, we'll have some fun." He didn't show up.
But I'm surprised. I'm really surprised he didn't. That sounds right up his alley. Yeah, that sounds right up his alley.
Well, here's a great question. Kelly Bullock asks, "What would be a great budget-friendly kayak for somebody just starting out?"
Great. What's this?
It depends. I guess Kelly, it would kind of depend on what kind of budget you're talking about, like your price range.
All right, I just pulled up, and
things are about to pick up.
There's that big old bum.
Yeah,
I almost forgot for a second. We're not on our. I'm trying not to curse.
I appreciate that.
I'm sorry, I was on the phone going over some stuff about Louisiana next week. So.
Oh, okay. Well, be quiet. I gotta answer a serious question. So you be quiet. Somebody asked a budget-friendly kayak. So this is a shameless plug because he's a sponsor, Raccoon Creek Outfitters, but he does sell a lot of the best brands specifically for kayak catfishing. New Canoe. He sells Titans. He sells Bonafides. Bonafide's coming out with what we think is going to be the best one in the country here in kayak catfishing here in a little bit. But the one you want to save for, and I don't know if this is within budget friendly. You want it if you're getting in right now and you want an open platform that you can fish any body of water, you can do anything to it. The New Canoe Unlimited is really, really, really hard to beat. And Raccoon Creek Outfitters, they will completely rig it up for you. They'll do all the wire. I didn't do any of my work on my kayak at all. All the wiring, everything was done. This guy even made my rod rack. I didn't even have to make my rod rack. So the New Canoe Unlimited is what I would go into right now. It's $17.99. Another boat that's very similar, open deck, everything. I used to be on their team. I'm no longer on their team, but like, here's the thing: I'm not a snake oil salesman. I'm just going to tell you what I think is the best. The Jackson Take Two is also really hard to beat. So in my opinion, the New Canoe Unlimited and the Jackson Take Two, they both come in about $1,600, $1,800 brand new, but an $800 budget kayak is 1,000 times worse than an $1,800 kayak that I just told you about. So if you can just save up or sell a bunch of fishing gear just to get to that $1,800 entry, you're going to get a platform that the best anglers in the country are on. Like he's on a Take Two right now. I was on a Take Two. Almost half the scenes in an unlimited. There's 4 or 5 of us going to the Bonafide XTR, which is around the same price range. So in the beauty about our world, you'll see some of these kayak bass fishing setups. The kayak itself is like $5,500. That's before a trailer. That's before all their gear.
Are they
yeah, that's funny. My entire setup, and I have a top tier trailer. I have one of the better kayaks and all that. I have a 24-volt motor. My entire setup is about $5,500. But that's over time. I didn't just go out and spend that much money.
Right.
I started off, with a paddle, 2 rod holders, and 2 rods and a cooler. That's what I started off with. And then I bought a fish finder, and then I bought something, and then I bought something, and then I got a trolling motor. So like, you don't have to come into the game where we're at.
There you go.
Do you agree with that, Ryan?
I mean, if I had it to do over again, I would take the plunge all at once.
Well, yeah, because we know, yeah. If you're new and you can afford it, yeah, take the plunge all at once, knock it all out of the way. We made all the mistakes for you. Don't make the mistakes we did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've spent like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get where I'm at now, which, like Mike said, you're at somewhere between. My kayak is probably a little more because I've got the live scope, but I mean, somewhere around that $6,000 threshold for everything. I've probably spent $30,000 getting there. You know?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And going budget kayak almost cost me my life. I went budget kayak as my first kayak, and it's the budget kayaks, their whole material is just not as strong. Third trip out, there was a hole busted in it that I wasn't aware. It was 36-degree water on a 33-degree day. The thing filled up with water. I'm not even 5 minutes out on the trip. It flips. There's no stopping it. It just flips. And now I'm in 36-degree water in a river trying to swim my kayak over to shore. And like, that's not okay. Whereas, these other kayaks, if you can just wait till you get to like that $1,800 entry fee, that if that thing busts a hole in it, you did something to it. There's no a hole just so happened to be in, crack into it. So and it's a safety thing too. Like, what's your safety worth? Yeah.
I get it. Ryan,
what's up?
So did you at least get some invaluable information for Louisiana?
I got some invaluable information going into Louisiana.
Invaluable.
What? Put your line in the water? Yeah, put your line in the water and catch a 40-pounder.
It's bait is my biggest concern while I'm down. That's anywhere I go. And I got the absolute hookup on bait spots. So,
which means I got the hookup on bait spots.
Yeah. So Ryan, you missed it earlier, but the phrase a joey, get a joey. It's going out the window. Mike has said you need to get a Ryan. Ryan will take care of your bait and take care of this and that. And so
I don't think Mike has ever showed up to one of our fishing trips and had to try to get bait.
That's what he said. He said he hasn't caught bait in like 2 or 3 years. I said, good. Yeah, man.
He probably can't even throw a cast net anymore.
Yep. I attempted to bait fish with them for 10 minutes tops. The last time we were there, I was pulling cranks for like maybe 7 minutes. Actually, I reeled all them up, went and stole the only skipjack that Chris had, and went up and caught like a 45-pounder bumping.
And that's when bait was tough.
Yeah, that was the only one he had.
I was bait fishing in a tropical storm tough. That's how tough that was. But no, I think I do want to call Mike out on something for our next fishing trip, though.
Here we go.
He went to hollering about something on a Facebook post earlier. So I think me and him might do a live 1v1 side-by-side kayak battle while we're down there.
Down in Louisiana?
I'm in.
Providing we have phone service. And
I'm in.
Oh, boy.
So y'all look out for that.
Make sure we all know about it, because I was just telling him, I said, man, I'm interested just to keep up with the photos and stuff you guys go through. Coming in from down there, being live would be pretty awesome.
I've actually got some really good stuff fixing to drop from Alabama. Some crazy fish action coming from down there. I started editing a video today actually from down there. They'll probably drop one this week and maybe two next week, depending on how many fish I catch over the next couple of weeks, because I ran out of content trying to do 2 a week. So with the planer boards, I took on a lot more than I thought right there on all that. So it's kind of cut into fishing a lot.
Bullock experience. He just said something about standing up in a kayak. So this is me fighting a 65 plus pound fish.
Let me get that up there for you.
In the chutes. Hold on. So this is me. This is how stable these kayaks are. I'm standing sideways. I'm not even standing in the middle of it. I'm kind of like cockeyed on it. And this is my PB Blue. And I'm fighting this fish, standing up, fighting the fish. So like, as far as stability goes, and then I don't think I have a really good angle I mean, you can figure out where I'm at, but like, this was the fish I was fighting standing up sideways, and it was constantly trying to, pull me out of the kayak, and I was perfectly fine. So the kayaks I'll be honest, I feel 10 times safer in my kayak today than I ever did in my John boat growing up. I would take a kayak of today over any John boat as far as stability is concerned. Any day. Oh, and this is Ryan changing the grease on my bearings.
While you sit there and sip on an adult beverage.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah. I actually drove to Cincinnati to fix those bearings.
Yep. 2.5 hours.
Yep.
We got a meet and greet coming up in Cincinnati on October 12th. It's called the Catfish Shindig. You guys are available. You got to swing by.
We're in.
That's when we're in Louisiana.
Yeah, that's tournament day.
Oh, October 12th?
Yep.
And then this is actually, this is me. This was when I was live. This is me fighting my big fish at Hoover. So you can't see the whole kayak, but this is the kayak I'm currently in right now, the Unlimited. And you'll see, like, I'm standing completely sideways in it, fighting the fish with one hand on the net. So, yeah, stability in these things. Like, I've seen 350-pound dudes, like, standing up bass fishing out of these kayaks now. So
I do not have the balance for that. I'd be in the water instantly.
Yeah. I got lucky. I got real lucky at this last tournament. So
Ryan, we're getting ready to head down to Wheeler and Wilson with the next couple of weeks. I'm going to have to give you a buzz and pick your brain on. Actually, the bait is my biggest fear right now. Just like you said earlier, like hearing everybody saying that how bad the bait's been down there has got me the most frazzled. It'll
cost you about an hour on your trip down, but go ahead and call Josh Thompson and get some bait on your way. It's well worth the peace of mind just to take bait with you. Because they said it's been tough down there for a couple of months. So it may change, but I don't see it changing very much.
Not even at Wheeler Dam, there wasn't any?
I caught, I think, probably 15 skipjack over a week's time, and I bait fished on average 4 hours a day every evening. And it's crazy. I literally had a skipjack jump in the kayak and out the other side. It bounced off my floor and went out the other side.
Yeah.
It was like it was raining around you. There's so many skipjack jumping, and you can't get them to bite.
Yep. Yeah, it wasn't that they weren't there. It sounded like a World War III was going on with how much they were jumping. They were jumping right at your kayak, and you just couldn't catch them.
We was down at Watts Bar a few weeks ago, and we had them popping like that. Same with Nickajack. We went to Nickajack one evening, and they were boiling everywhere. The only way I could get them to hit was a Foley spoon behind a popper.
Yep.
And that was
that's how
I didn't have the popper. I didn't catch anything.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up catching them at Wheeler the same way. but I was doing what they call lazy rigging, where you just put the baits out behind you and just let them sit there. I mean, just sitting there in the current. And that's the only way we could get them. And down there, white bass was easy, but it's not legal bait. So
that's so lazy manning it. Where is it at? That's what I was doing right here. Like right in the beginning of the video. I was fast forwarding through it. That's when I caught everyone.
yeah.
I was bumping a rod. I love doing that. I bump a rod, and then I have 2 skipjack rods out. And if I catch a skipjack, I just put the bumping rod down, reel in the skipjack, and then I have literally a brand new piece of bait right then and there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And I still had to give him bait on that trip.
Yep.
But that was in the spring. That was in the spring when bait was easy down there. I mean,
oh yeah.
You know Freddie, FOA rods?
Oh yeah, we all know Freddie.
So those are my favorite bait rods of all time. They have the backbone to be able to lift anything up and cast a country mile. But they have the shorter handle to where you're not like in the kayak, you're not constantly like hitting yourself in the chest. You can do those casts in the kayak while you're sitting down. So shout out to
the 5 or the 6.
I prefer the longer one.
The 6?
I have two of each, but I prefer the longer one. So it depends. If I'm taking them out, I take the 6s. If I'm taking 3 out, and I also like they're my crappie rods and everything now. So yeah, it's
there you go.
You don't have to necessarily use them just for catfishing. They're awesome bait fishing rods too. So I wanted to give him a quick shout out. I like
John Euler. I just got your picture. Based on what I'm seeing, it looks like a big fish under your boat that is either staying directly under your boat and staying on your graph, or you've got your chart speed. Your chart speed is not set to auto, and your chart speed is set. Actually, you're only moving at 0.4. So I'm going to say that that's a fish just hanging out. That's moving at the same pace or very close to the same pace as you are moving. It just stayed underneath your boat. But it does look like one fish, and according to the thickness, it looked like a pretty decent fish. He just sent me a picture of his graph. It just kind of brought up. Let me see if I pull it up here. I get a lot of these, and I'm no graph expert by far at all. But looking at this picture here, seeing that he's just got that. It's too solid to be like shad. It's not shad. I'm guessing this one fish is right underneath your boat. You're in 5 foot of water. You're only moving 0.4 miles an hour. So I'm guessing.
What kind of bottom does he have right there? Is that a hard bottom or a mud bottom?
It looks like Garmin. That should be a pretty hard bottom on yellow.
That's probably a scaled fish then.
It could be.
Because the fish is showing up relatively the same color as the bottom.
Right.
Depending on how you got his color palette showing there. If it's a hard bottom, that's probably a hard scaled fish.
Yeah. It kind of looks like Sandusky, to be honest, but because it's 5 foot. And I know that's where he likes to fish some. We marked a lot of fish, but nothing like that. Yeah, I think that was a fish. You see some crazy stuff. Like when we used to spin drift, we can actually watch the marks come up and check out our bait and go back down. We can watch fish come up and just stay with our bait and just keep a solid line across your screen because they're just kind of checking your bait out. You see some weird stuff, but in my experience, this looks like a fish that's kind of stayed underneath your boat for a while. Well,
probably swimming in the same direction that he's moving.
Yeah, you're moving. He was moving the same direction as you are. He just stayed in your cone too long.
If I had to guess, probably a big carp.
Maumee River. Yeah. Not knowing what the bottom is, but on most Garmin, your color yellow is hard. Red is the hardest, but yellow is hard.
Are there muskie and or pike at
Muskie and the Maumee?
Sandusky?
Yes.
All right.
I know that because we caught him. Actually, the guy we were out there with, he caught a pike, and I don't remember how many inches he says it was. It was over 30-inch pike. Looks like a big gar. Yeah, it could be a gar. It'd be a big gar to be that thick, but it could be.
All right, so I'm fighting. I'm curious what other people think this is. In this here, I'm fighting a 3 to 5 pound drum or channel. I never saw it. So it was a 3 to 5 pound channel or drum tops. It wasn't fighting that hard at all. So you're going to see out of nowhere, my line just started. You see that? And snap, 100-pound leader. Snap clean.
Yeah.
And that's up on Sandusky. I've been asking people what they think it might be. Most people said they think it's a muskie. What do you think it is? You see how out of nowhere my line goes from right here to here. In a matter of just 2 seconds. Yeah, there's my line. And now it is there.
You can see the drag coming off the reel and it bouncing while it's ripping drag.
Yeah, it could be muskie or pike up there. They're both in that water.
I was so bummed I didn't get to see whatever that thing was. That would have made my weekend. Before we hop off, I'll just do a quick shout out to the sponsor of the trail. We essentially nailed most of them. Raccoon Creek Outfitters is one of them. New Albany, Ohio. Catfish Sumo, they sponsor the trail. And BCAT Boards sponsors the trail by way of Catfish Sumo, if that makes sense. Now, we were part of a transition of BCAT. Ryan, you could talk about it if you want. I don't want to talk about it as if I was.
So it's the same owner of the company.
Yeah, Daniel Leake owns Catfish Sumo and BCAT Boards now.
Right.
And then this guy is the one who's actually making them now in his garage. Yeah. We're very proud to keep that product here and not send overseas.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got BK boards as well. I've got 3 of the big or 3 sets of the big boards and a set of the small boards that I keep. And we're running like big heavy stuff. I really like running those when I'm like down in Alabama. When I run my boards really far out, cover a lot of ground, or I'm running some heavy weight or big waves, I like the BK boards. When I'm local and I'm fishing like Sandusky or Hoover, I run my smaller boards. So like the Uncle Lou's original boards or Freddie's FOA boards, they're essentially the same. But my thing has always been, I don't care what board you run. I mean, I know you guys do, but whatever board you run that one name brand. If you try to mix and match, some boards pull out better than others. When you start catching fish and it's that middle board, and now you let your inside board become your middle board, and now you put your middle board as the inside board, but it pulls harder and it's trying to pull past your middle.
See, I don't switch boards like that.
I rotate.
I rotate too. On my outside board, my outside line is actually the one farthest away from my board too. So I cast it out just as far behind me as I can get it, clip my board on, let it all the way out, and it stays in the middle all the way back. And then I just lock it in and let it pull out around all the rest.
Yeah.
And I can do that any which one because I stagger my lines. So the farthest board away from me is also the farthest one behind me. So each one steps a little bit closer and a little bit closer and a little bit closer, both toward me and up at the same time. And that keeps, even when a fish hits, if it runs one way or the other, it either goes across the top of the other lines or under the other lines. So it keeps you from twisting stuff up.
Yeah. Well, I can pick your brain really good when it comes to all that, but we know that you're going to be popping on the show here within the next couple of weeks. And so I'll wait and dig into that because there's some theories I'd like to run by you as far as tail length off the boards. But
yeah,
we could be here till midnight easy if we start
going
to that.
Yeah. I mean, there's the only thing I'm going to say about that is there's no science to anything.
No, like, if it works, you run it, and
yeah. But like I change every single time I'm running boards. Like if they're not hitting on a short line, I'll reel them in. I won't change because your spot. That's one thing as kayakers, we have to make the spot work. We don't have a choice.
Yeah, you can't just up and run 10 miles.
So like you have to adjust what you're doing, or you can only make a couple 100 feet, couple mile run tops. So sometimes just changing from having your if you're dragging 40 foot and you have about 100 foot behind your boards, sometimes for whatever reason that's not far enough. You got to have 200 feet behind your boards. You know what I mean? My planer boards are normally the ones that get hit if I'm running like 6 rods. The planer boards normally outperform the ones not on the planer boards. And I truly believe there's something to, and people could disagree with me. So there is something to you going over, even like 40 foot of water. They know you're there. So like there is something to my middle rod not getting as much action as the planer boards.
Well,
sure.
You talk to these guys that's running live scope. So Ryan, you might be able to debunk this.
They literally avoid you.
Yep. I've seen fish scoot in 30 foot of water.
Mm-hmm.
I have spent hours and hours and hours riding around on lakes and rivers looking at fish with live scope, not even dropping lines. And you would be surprised how very little of a noise it takes in 40 and 50 foot of water for a fish to just swim off. And I mean, they'll stay there till you get almost right over them, and then you make a little noise and they are gone. I've learned so much watching fish with live scope. It's unreal.
I'm sorry. That is the only real reason. Like, I don't think I can catch more fish. I would like to maybe catch better bait with live scope. But like just learning about fish behavior, I think is what intrigues me the most about live scope. Just all the things that we've learned and heard about that we thought we knew about fish, and we really don't. And live scope's starting to prove those things now.
Now, depending on where I'm going and what I'm doing, it'll hinder me in a tournament. I'll leave it at home when I go to tournament fish because I'll end up watching fish on live scope and not actually trying to fish. It's that addictive, and you learn that much from it. But there's also times, and we'll talk about this when I come back on, that I've placed in tournaments because I had live scope. But it's only been a couple of times in very unique situations.
I got you. Well, guys, we are running out of time. I got to get these kids to bed, and got to get up early as well. But Mike, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. Ryan, I thought you'd be in here early to razz him pretty good, but
well, tournament life comes first, bud.
if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Not for me. I'm about to retire to some Rocket League. I'm also geek. Yeah, I'm also geek.
All right. Well, I got to get out of here too, guys. I appreciate y'all having me on. Mike, give me a call tomorrow, and I'll let you know what I figured out about Louisiana.
Sounds good.
Boy.
All right. We'll see you.
All right, guys. Be safe. We'll catch you guys later.
See you guys.
All right. Good night, everybody. We'll catch you next Tuesday night. Same cat time, same cat channel. Good night, y'all. I got to end the stream before I shut myself off.